because we already had some stuff right here. So let's go. Let's start with Sanjay right here. Sanjay, I'm gonna move this to the other side. There we go. Actually, let me close this and let me open the other account. There we go. Perfect. Okay, so Sanjay says, "Hey Abe, as an artist, I'd like to focus on being a character artist, using the game art pipeline, but I also doing props. I'm currently doing into Marvel's designer course. I also want to start applying for jobs to become a game artist. Wonder if you could provide feedback and some tips." Okay, so if you want to be a character artist, we need to see more characters. That's the first thing that I will tell you, my friend, because right now we're not seeing anything, right? Like there's just this fantasy warrior right here, and even this one, there's a couple of things that I don't particularly like. See, gold is a tricky thing. When you take a look at gold armor, for instance, we are very sort of like indoctrinated to see gold armor kind of like in games and stuff, but real gold armor, as you can see, actually has a very sort of like dull glow to it. It's not yellow, it's this sort of like dark brownish color, okay? So be very careful when doing gold on your characters, because if you go too saturated like what you're doing right here, it can definitely backfire a little bit. And it's one of those things that's relatively easy to fix. It's just about the saturation on whatever software you're using. So let's use this one, for instance, right there. Control U. And if we bring the saturation down, right, and a little bit of the lightness up, that already starts looking a little bit more like gold. I'm actually gonna push the hue a little bit down. See that difference? So that right there looks a little bit more like how gold would react in the real world compared to what we're seeing right here that's like hyper saturated. This is not how you would normally find metals on your characters, which I know you actually do. Yeah, we got some like epic music. Is it too much? Should we change it to like the more basic stuff? No, there is some epic music. Let's go a little bit lighter. I'm using the League of Legends like creators playlist. Where is it? Yeah, it might be a little bit too much. Give me 1 second. Diana sessions. That should be better. A little bit chiller. There we go. No, that's fine. It was also sort of like hyping me up a little bit too much, so. There we go. Okay, so this one looks a lot closer to what I would expect a realistic element to look like. I'm a little bit concerned about this one, my friend, because there are certain shading issues. So for instance here, the normal map kind of looks inverted. So I'm not sure if you forgot to invert the normal map on your original mesh, but you might want to like take a look at that, because it does look like some of the normal maps are not like working perfectly fine. It's not a bad asset. I like this one as a prop for games. I think this one is fine. UVs are not great though, and I'm gonna tell you why UVs are not great. You added way too many cuts, I think. Way too many cuts, and some of these materials are very low quality as well, my friend. So let's take a look here. So you can see how, for instance, this piece right here has quite a bit of detail, and then the pieces by the side are very low res. That tells me that something is happening on your UVs that are not allowing you to bake all of the information down. And look at this normal map. This is why marmoset viewers are so good for us as art directors or recruiters, because we can immediately tell how you're like handling all of this stuff. So it's very important that you make sure that we don't have these extreme elements. See this extreme shading that we have right here? It should not look like that. It should look like all of these parts right here, very smooth, very soft. When you have this, those are errors. So something is happening on your mesh or on your bakes that you need to check, okay? So again, not a bad asset. This one I really like. It's a good asset. There's a couple of things that I would change. Okay. Yeah, mainly the silhouette. The silhouette is very simple. You can see it here on the outside of the house. It's just a plane with a map texture. This is what they used to do back in the day in like PlayStation 2 and things like that. Nowadays, you can really play a little bit more with the silhouette, like this one right here. So I'm not sure why we're adding this shots when we have this one right here. I would rather see more shots about your topology and things like that. Now this one right here, again, a good prop. I like it. It's not bad, but it's so simple. Like, it's such a simple prop that I don't think it fits here in your portfolio. Remember guys that if you have a prop that can be done in like a couple of hours, it usually makes no sense to have it on your portfolio. It's better to just include it with the house and do breakdowns within this pose than to just have like a simple window. Let's go with this one finally. Okay, blockout, low poly, high poly. This is not a low poly, man. This is not low poly. I'm sorry, and I'm sorry if I'm being a little bit mean right now, but this right here, this C mesh stuff, that's not gonna work. I mean, nowadays with nanite and other things, it can work, but what I mean, this is not optimized. This was way more optimized than what you had right here. So the texturing and the sculptor or the sculpting it's not bad. I would like to see a little bit more again breaks on the silhouette. But other than that, it does look good. It's just that the low poly is not efficient at all. Okay, like this asset should easily be below 10k triangles. Like, can you see the density right there on that skirt and on that base right there and on each of these cylinders? Like, it's just topology that's not doing anything. And I know I just made a short a couple of days ago about like Wukong having millions of polygons on screen, but it's important that you guys understand that just because you can have millions of polygons on screen doesn't mean that you should have millions of polygons on screen. So you still need to what's the word? You still need to optimize things. You still need to work on that. Now, the same advice that I give frequently, my friend, try to work on more ambitious projects, okay? Because even though some of them are quite good, again, like the broken glass window, it's not gonna be the best one. And if you want to do character, we need to see characters. We need to see anatomy. You can check the Duncan course for anatomy for artists. So yeah, that's good. Good start here with our first element. I'm gonna do something a little bit weird this time around, guys. I'm gonna be telling David to notate a couple of important bits of information that I think could be good shorts for later. So David, could you just like write down the gold information, because I think that's a good tip about texturing. The blockout should be, yeah, the blockout can definitely be more low poly. The blockout, since it's gonna be replaced by the high poly anyway, it doesn't really matter that much.